competence in Islam, the first thing that we need to remember is that great leaders lead through emotions, right? That great leaders actually lead through emotions. And we are going to talk, so let me see if I can. So right now, you don't have that in front of you, but, and it's not going to be on the website. You'll have to email to our facilitating team, and we'll email it direct to you. This is an emotional intelligence quiz. A lot of research has been done by Daniel Coleman, Boyatkis, and all his colleagues. This area of emotional intelligence has been researched, and Goleman points out in several of his books that though he basically coined the term in a sense, or really went in depth in it, that idea has been around for a while. There are other people who are very well known in leadership, like David McClellan, that some of you may have read about, who actually did some research before him. So there is a body of knowledge to show that leaders are more effective when they're emotionally intelligent. Yes, they have to have the requisite skills that we talked about in the past 3 sessions. We talk about integrity, we talk about competence, we talk about having a vision, we talk about being inspiring. But this is a part that's almost always forgotten. And so, so there is a lot of research, and I would like you, inshallah, to take that quiz. I don't know whether I've sent it to Dr. Reza, but I will send it right after this lecture to see where you are in terms of the 5 core competencies that underlie emotional intelligence. Always good to benchmark yourself. Like last week, I wanted you to benchmark yourself, or the week before, in terms of your leadership style. Now, and we're going to do that throughout these webinars. So when Daniel Goleman, in one of his books, he said, we are being judged by a new yardstick. The new measure takes for granted having enough intellectual ability and technical know-how to do our job. So that's assumed. It's not like we are getting rid of that, right? That's assumed. We've talked about that from an Islamic perspective, the idea of competence, right? But this focuses instead on personal qualities, such as initiative and empathy, adaptability, and persuasiveness. That this part is something that has been, in a sense, forgotten. Now, when we look at the research, especially in neuroscience and a couple of related areas, the discoveries in the 1990s confirm in general that human beings, you and me, we have 2 types of brain. We have an emotional brain that in the limbic system, basically, and then we have a rational brain in the neocortex. And I'm going to talk about that more towards the end in more detail. What we know is that the emotional brain develops before the rational brain. And what is interesting for us, and this will be interesting today, but it'll be also interesting when we talk about stress management later on from an Islamic perspective. What is interesting is that when information comes into our brain, it comes through the emotional brain before it goes to the neocortex. So it's being processed initially by the limbic system. And what we also have noticed is that people have surgery for that, where for whatever reason, their emotional brain has to be disconnected from the rational brain. These people, therefore, as a result, don't have access to feelings and are unable to form relationships and are unable to make decisions because they cannot discern what they like or they don't like. So Allah, in His perfect wisdom, has not created us only as rational beings, but also as beings that are moved, that are energized, or vice versa, by our emotions. So then